warning, everyone. Got a little
Yeah.
cough, so I will try to
Oh,
mute.
every time you need to cough. Okay, no, that's fine. That
Yeah,
is
I've got
fine.
cough. I'm like loaded up over here. I've got cough drops,
Oh my
all the
God.
things. You know how it is when you talk, it gets worse. So yeah,
Yes.
but I wasn't gonna miss it. I
No,
feel
thank
fine.
you. I'm so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
excited. I'm so excited that you agreed to do this masterclass. So
Always.
let's get started. I'm so excited for today's masterclass because
Yeah,
like when it comes to mindset, when it comes to manifesting, when it comes to, anything dealing with like just, you know, like getting to the destination. Everything originates
mm,
in the mind, right? And so I love like your teaching practices and the
yeah,
first masterclass that you did for us because like when you were talking about a poverty mindset versus an abundant mindset and the difference and like all of the practices that you were teaching is just so vitally important, especially for those of us
yeah.
in community, right? Because that's where it starts. That's the foundation. A lot of us, we think that the doing is what we need
Right.
to do, but it's not really the doing, right? Everything like your reality, it originates first by a thought, right? Thought then becomes things. So I'm just so glad that you decided to come back and to do this
Always.
masterclass for us, Jenna. We love you
Yeah.
so much. So
Thank
this
you.
is so let's just open up for this masterclass. So you guys, we are hosting another masterclass by 7 Ways to Wealth. And so in tonight's masterclass, we are doing what is it called? It's called the manifesting audit.
Yes, so I've got a manifesting identity audit. So that's a free audit that you get 7 questions. We can do that, and we can do it in real time if everybody wants to, because we you can get immediate results. And then we can talk about those results or do it on your free time, whatever works. So I believe Ivy's put the link in the chat already. And we're just going to really dive into like what is a wealthy mindset, like really, and what keeps us from having one, what sabotages us, what blocks us, what kind of keeps us in our small self instead of our highest self. And that's where I think we begin the conversation. So what do you recommend? Do you want to take a minute and like kind of workshop this and do the quiz as we go?
Oh no, it's
Or
it's up to you. Like well, however you
I'm
want
open.
to
Okay.
run the show. So
Okay.
I know how you operate, and so I want our community to be able to be able to benefit from these practices as much as possible.
Yeah, 100%. So give me a one in the chat if you guys are open for some interaction, some engagement, and to take the quiz now. Like it's powerful and it's going to give you an immediate result, and we're gonna be able to like immediately figure out like where does it stop you, right? Like what's the block that keeps you in the limitations. Okay, good, yay, we've got some yeses. And so okay, so Ivy just posted the quiz, and it should only take about 2 minutes, right? Like we should 2 or 3 minutes, because I want you to just, when you look at the questions, respond with your first instinct. Like, don't overthink this, because that's part of what happens is we overthink things. So if you guys are willing, Joe and whoever has access to the link there, click on it, and then we'll dive in from there.
Okay, I'm gonna click on it so I can take it too.
Yay! I have an
Okay.
idea what yours is.
Ah, I know, right?
And it's not a bad thing, guys. This is just identification. It just helps us be aware of ourselves, right? Like, who are we being? And yeah, so I know Christina, so it's like she's a lot like me.
Yeah.
and then put a 2 in the chat once you're done, and then we'll proceed. And now, question for you, Christina or Ivy, can we post it in the YouTube? Are we able to post it out on the YouTube as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
That might be
let me go
a good
ahead and
thing.
do that. I am gonna put it in the chat on the YouTube live.
On the YouTube. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll just get this out of the way and then I'll dive in.
All right.
One of the things I love about you, girl, is like you go like you get to the work, and I'm like, so do I. I want to get to the work.
I know, right? I love it though, because I just want people to have results. So I'm like,
Me too. Yeah,
let's do it.
exactly.
Hi, Lauren. Hi,
Jena,
Lauren.
are you calling me?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Craig,
Jenna.
is that you?
Yeah, I
That's okay.
apologize. Is the link in the chat? I'm looking in the chat. Is the link that you're talking to take the quiz, is that in the chat?
Yes. Ivy, I think she can post it one more time there, so it's right at the bottom.
Yes.
And you just should be able to click, it'll open it up in your browser. There you go.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
I reposted it.
Thanks for asking.
Okay, perfect.
Amazing. We should have some work music.
I know, right?
You don't want to hear me sing.
Oh my gosh, somebody asked me to sing last week, and I'm like, no way, I can't.
On my questions?
Yeah, I don't have it in me.
Interesting. I love when that happens.
Yes.
And I think a few people just got added. So if you're new online here, we're just all taking the quiz, the link in the chat, whether you're on YouTube or here on Zoom. Amazing. And just a reminder, put a 2 in the chat once you're complete. Got the illusionist. Good to know. Thank you, Bianca. And you can put your result in the chat if you want. That'll be my next question. Martyr. Lady EL. I don't know what your name is, but you can share the results. Oh, there it is. Okay, illusionist. Lots of illusionists. Got it. Hi, Edgar. Thank you. Ari. You've heard this before. Awesome. Okay. Have you taken my quiz before, or are you just like the info or what? Jennifer Sassy. Is that a result? I should make it one. So far, Martyr and the Illusionist are winning. Oh, got it, Lady EL. Sorry if I don't know what your full name is, but being an illusionist in general. Gotcha. The Rebel. Christina, got it. The illusionist. Yep. Oh, good, Diana. Okay, I'll speak to that. Thank you for sharing that. I'll speak to that. Okay. I think we've got, I know there's like a whole bunch of you online here. So um, I'll give it like one more minute and then just make sure everybody's got a chance to go through it. And then we'll dive in. What does all this mean? Excellent. And Christina, you actually surprised me. There were just from So what's interesting about this quiz, it really speaks to the internal dialogue, right?
Yeah.
And so we know each other face front and obviously, friendship and all. But and I have a feeling I know you're secondary. Like we all use all of them, first of all.
Of course.
Sad to say. But yeah, so that's good to know that the illusionist is actually your primary.
Oh, I
Um
mean,
so
you know what? I feel like I'm not sure about the other ones, but I'm like, okay, yeah, I feel like it could possibly be. So,
good. Yeah, good. I'm like, yeah, anybody in here, that's a good point. Like anybody in here, and I see Diana's note, but anybody in here feel like it's not them. Like the result was just like, that's not me. Now, like of course there's a result page with a little bit of explanation, but we'll dive in here and look at and see what it's all about. But I'm curious if anybody was like, nope, not me, right? Most of the time you recognize yourself. You're the one answering, therefore you see yourself. And so that's the exercise for sure. And, I created this audit a couple years ago. I've had over 1,700 people take it. And the people that I know of obviously are willing to share their results and their response. So far I've had, 100% batting average, meaning they see themselves, they recognize themselves. And that just means that what's happening is, with all the hundreds of people I've worked with as a coach, is that we're human and we are all operating from two voices. And so the thing that I want to like start to crack open in this conversation today is number one, I just want to provide a new perspective, potentially. Now, maybe you've heard it, maybe you've heard a version of it. Maybe like there's something in it that says, oh, I've heard this before. And so my encouragement as we enter this, conversation today together is to just look at this as a new conversation and allow the higher self, higher intelligence part of you to witness potentially something new, like just even 1 degree shift can change the entire trajectory of your life. 1 degree. Because if you just shift 1 degree, where do you end up? Somewhere new, right? And so when I start these conversations, I really encourage everyone to just try it on. And everything I say is just an invitation. And I know Ivy introduced me a little bit. And so for anyone that's truly new to me and this community, I've been around the community a while. Um, this is my life's work more importantly, it's been my life journey. And then I've learned some things along the way that has allowed me to completely change the trajectory of my life. And that's what I want to start with today is some of those structures and architectures and concepts that have really made a difference for me and has allowed me to like show up in Bali as a digital nomad, or it's allowed me to grow my business and shift my wealth conversation. It's allowed me to number one, step into my power and be able to even help people with this conversation. Previously in Chicago, I know we were talking about where's everybody from. I've done some amazing things in my life. I've been a makeup artist. I've been a fashion designer. I've been an accountant and a controller for a public accounting firm. Those kind of my corporate years. I have then moved myself into entrepreneurship. I bought my first storefront in years and years ago. And 1 year after I opened that sucker, I was 700,000 in debt and bankrupt. But it taught me things. Every experience I've gone through has led me to the ability that I have now to master what I call the ego. And so I wanted to introduce to you what it really means to have a wealthy mindset. And we're going to talk about some of the patterns, which is what you just discovered, right? The rebel, the realist, the illusionist, or the martyr is a pattern. It's simply a behavior pattern. And the cool thing about behavior patterns is they can be edited. You can change them. You can change your behavior. But if you're unaware and if you're out of, operating in an unconscious manner to the behavior that's running the show, then obviously change is harder and transformation is more cumbersome. So in all of my, iterations of my life and my business and what have you, one of the main things that started to change the trajectory and all of the traumas that I experienced as a child and the hardships, because I came from a victim mindset. I was in victim. I blamed the world. I blamed the people outside of me for my reality. And what that does is it immediately gives the power to them. It gives all the power to that thing outside of me. And one of the first things that I encourage everyone to identify is, are you living in the victim mentality at any level? And it's not a bad place to be. It's an awareness. And honestly, it's where we all begin, because victimship, which is the first layer of our evolution as a human, is where we develop the ego. And so just for some distinction, I believe there's two voices that are always going on. And just to simplify life, right? Simplify the awareness, is one is ego or one is essence. And that essence is that higher self, that knowing, that higher awareness that you have, that we all have. And the ego is the part of us that has separated us from that higher self and that higher knowing. And the ego is simply there to do one job 100% of the time. And that is to keep us safe from emotional or physical pain. It started out as physical, right? It's kind of like, child, don't run into the street and get hit by a car, right? So it puts a little fear in us, right, to pull us away from the road. But it also developed into an emotional protector, meaning I don't want to feel seen. I don't want to feel like I don't belong in the classroom. I don't want to feel left out. I don't want to feel unloved. I don't want to feel not good enough. I don't want to feel like a failure. I don't want to get an F on my paper. I want to, right? It's like so the ego started to come in with these behavior patterns and protect you from your greatness. And your greatness already exists. This is the beautiful part of this conversation, is you already are everything you want to be and have. You already are that, but most likely it's covered up. It's hidden from your view, and it's hidden underneath these unconscious patterns that like to sabotage us and protect us at all costs. And so a wealthy mindset is kind of the title, right? Like of the conversation today. And I wanted to like actually dive deeper into that because personally, I think mindset is just a part of the wealth that we are. And so if we have a wealthy identity, then we have a wealthy mindset. And so identity is, who are you being? Are you being essence or ego? And when we operate from the rebel, the illusionist, the realist, the martyr, these are just behavior patterns, but they hijack us daily, minute by minute, right? And it's not a bad thing. It's just a lack of awareness that we're doing it. And so it's so subtle. And of course, that's my deeper work with people, is the nuance of them, of these different behaviors. And there's 15 ego tricks, as you'll discover in I think once you've put your email in, you'll get the details of that. But the point is that these archetypes are just a bundle of those ego tricks, and we're going to kind of dive into some of those as well. The first thing I want to start with, and I highly recommend everybody get their notebook out, because I just like try to pour into you as much as I can, and I just want you to write down the nuggets that you hear, and that's what you were meant to get today. Right? It's not about, and then you obviously can rewatch the recording and get more for the next day if you wish. But it's like whatever's meant to be received today is where the shift for you is ready to happen. And so, hold on, cough, cough. I'm doing pretty good. Okay. The foundation I want to build really quickly before we get into kind of the details of the results that you just determined is the phases of our evolution from ego to essence. So I believe there's 4 stages. And for me, until proven otherwise in my current level of understanding, I believe that we all move through these at different paces, different, they happen in different times of our life. And to be honest, some of us never get through all 4. And that's okay, right? But you are here because I believe you want to elevate yourself. You want to grow, you want to shift, you want to go to the next level. And the idea is to identify what is the level I'm at, and therefore, and also how do I get to the next one? So number 1, I call stage 1 is the victimship limitation. So I mentioned this already, and this is where, especially in the younger version of ourselves, is we are in survival mode. We're just like, I mean, heck, as coming in as a baby, we're like, feed me. That's all I need. Just feed me. Love me, feed me. Like, that's it. I just need to survive this, right? Like, I'm very dependent on someone else taking care of my basic needs. But then obviously we develop and we start to become a little independent. We become teenagers and we look for that little independence, but we're still looking outside of us as the reason things aren't happening in our life. Like it's our parents, or it's our teachers, or it's our circumstances, and it's all happening to you, right? So this is phase 1, stage 1, victimship limitation. And like I said, if you look around, and maybe you look around at family members, or because those are pretty right in your face, is a lot of us never even leave this stage. And I would gather you guys are here, especially when you're looking at building wealth and building trust and doing the things that Christine is teaching. You're ready to go to a whole new identity, right? So step 1, victimship limitation. Number 2 is what I call, it's time for radical ownership, right? So victimship limitation, and then step 2 is radical ownership. This is when my life changed. And like all the way, like this was the beginning of my journey, my spiritual awareness, my growth, my personal development, all of it. And I started studying all of this when I was 18 years old. And I came from a childhood where it was riddled with divorce of parents, of course. And then I went into 5 years of a domestic violence household. And I then went into a bullying situation. I was bullied pretty heavily in my high school years. And I was just like, this cannot be it. This cannot be what my life is all about. Right. But I was operating from victim. I was very much deeply seated in like, okay, it's all their fault. I am this way because, and my life is crap because all of those things happened to me. And the shift came, and the power that I regained started to show itself when I took radical ownership. And this is where you create your perspective of your life and you take back the ownership of the power that you are and the greatness that you are, and you start to notice that if I shift my perception and I realize that everything that might have happened in circumstantially is happening for me, then life in reality starts to shift outside of me. As Christina started the call with, it's like everything starts with your mind, and it did. It was a perspective shift. And inside of that perspective shift, the radical ownership that I took, I didn't continue to blame my dad that left. I didn't continue to blame the abuser in our household. I didn't continue to blame mom. I didn't continue to blame even hate on the people that hated on me in like high school and such. It was what is this? So pretty. I continued to shift my perspective, and then what I started to notice is that my life started to shift. So it wasn't that my life shifted and then my perspective changed. That's how we have it backwards. We think that if we get the bank account, if we are wealthy, then our life will be fixed, or that we'll be happy, or that we'll be, everything will be, 100% better. And that's not where it begins. It begins with our perception and most importantly, the ownership. And when I say ownership, a lot of people use the conversation around like personal responsibility. Responsibility for me has a little bit of a connotation to it. It tends to be blame. And so we're not blaming ourselves. We're taking ownership of our ability to own our perception of the things that have occurred in our life. So that's number two. Then number three is what I call elevated ascension. Okay, this is another magical level. This is where belief and pattern breaking, affirmations are you're starting to use affirmations and you're thinking more positively. You've probably heard about law of attraction and all of these things, and it's like there's still effort, and the ego pops up every day. And it might be less, right? The ego's not having to protect you so much from your victim mindset, but it is still there and it's still present, and you still feel like you have to do all the effort in order for life to actually change. So Christina mentioned this too, is like we're so focused on the how, right? And if any of you are the realist, which is my primary, is you are very committed to knowing and controlling how, what, when, where. How do I do this? How do I make more money? How do I, right? You want the how. Well, the ego needs the how, because the ego feels safe in the control of that, in the expectation of that, in the predictability of that. So elevated ascension is you guys aren't new to what I'm saying necessarily, but you're still in the work of it, right? You're still in the like, I still feel like there's effort happening on a daily basis. There's still this experience of I've got to like, the human has to do something in order for things to change. And so there's just this balance and this kind of like internal conflict between your higher self knowing that there's more to life, and you're making things happen, and you're committed, and you're thinking positive, and you're doing the affirmations, and you're doing the pattern work, and maybe the inner child shadow work and all of those things. But there's still this effort. It still feels hard, or there's still so much out of your reach, right? So then number 4 is where it's like, this is where I'm headed. This is where my goal is essence expression. pure essence expression. And what that means is you really internalize and viscerally feel the divinity, the limitless, the infinite self, the creator, and you recognize and you know and you know and you know that you are the programmer of your reality. You're creating your life movie. And it's not by the doing, but it is by the identity. It's by the and identity in the human experience, in my current level of awareness, is still egoic, because the higher self, the essence of who we really are, doesn't need identity to manage life, right? So wealth identity is just a game that we choose to play, which is totally fine. It's part of the human experience. And we're here to play the games that we want to play. In this community, we're playing the trust game. We're playing stage. We're not so conditioned and controlled and limited, not only by our own ego, but by the world outside of us, right? And let me make sure it says I'm unstable. Or am I good? Can you still hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Bali, if I disappear, I'll hook to my personal hotspot, just so you know. Okay, so the four kind of phases of our human evolution, in my opinion: victimship, limitation, radical ownership, number 2, elevated ascension, and then essence expression. And so I'd love to know, so I can hear from you guys, which number do you believe you're pretty much operating in? 1, 2, 3, or 4 level. And some might be in between, which is fine. So if you could put the number in the chat, that would be great. 1, victimship. 2, radical ownership, like knowing perspective matters. 3, elevated ascension. You're doing some of the work, right? But you still feel the effort. Or 4, you're living your wealth identity, you're playing your games, you're programming your reality, like you're living from a higher self. 3s. Yep. Diana, 4. Got it. 3, 3, 3s, 4, 4. Okay, 1. I got a 1. Okay, great. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, a lot of 3s. So, and that's the identity or the identification that I want everyone to step into, is like, where am I in my journey? And then now we can see the gap. Now we can see, well, this is where I want to go. So how many of you put a 4 if you'd like to be a 4? Would you like to live in the 4? Yes, we all would, right? Let's just make it easy. Let's make it peaceful and fun, and not to say we don't have the roller coaster of emotions, because that's a human experience. Thank you, 444. But we need to know where we are in order to then figure out the gap, right? Like, where do we want to go? And so I just wanted to give you guys that foundation, and so that you understand kind of where I'm coming from when I say, and I knew that most of you would probably be more closer to the 3 conversation, because you probably wouldn't even resonate with the marketing that said show up to a wealth mindset call, right? Let's find out more about ourselves. A lot of people aren't doing this work, right? They're not showing up. They're still in the victim mindset or the radical ownership, maybe, that says, everything outside of me is causing my reality. And so why work on myself about this, right? And so you're in the right place for sure. And I certainly honor you for committing to yourself. And I'm here to just keep co-creating with you and bring you to the next level, whatever that next level is. So before I dive into the details of like the results that you got, right? So part of the identification process, especially in step 3, is to identify the patterns, right? Like, what is the pattern that I'm operating from at a deeper level? So maybe you've identified some childhood patterns and some behaviors that you don't necessarily prefer, but now it's time to take it to the next deeper level that says, I can master my ego, which then leads me to step 4, right? Stage 4. Because when I can be ego less, then I can be all my essence. But the moment you're operating from ego at any given time, then you've just shifted out of essence and you're letting ego run the show. And that's my point is of doing the identity audit, is to be like, what identity, what egoic archetype are you operating from on the most, like it's like obviously just the predominant. Like I said, we use them all because I promise you, if number one isn't working, like your predominant isn't working, it will go to the next one. It'll go to the next one. And it also depends on the area of your life, because in money, you be a realist or you might be an illusionist. Like you're worried about money, you're worried about where the next dollar is going to come. But in love, in your relationships, you might be a martyr. You might internalize, you might feel things and take a lot of blame or feel guilty about things. It depends, right? It depends on the kind of the area of life, because they impact us in a different way. They activate us in different ways. And so anyway, it's very important in my world to understand them all. And I'll make sure, I've already, told Christine, I'll share a resource that's like a powerful tool and process and protocol to be able to really understand all of it, and so you can recognize it every single day, right? All, like, exactly where you are, what you're using, and how to actually break through, because I know you all want the how. So I'll share that later. So excuse me. Okay, so let's look at now that we know where we are in kind of the stages of our evolution, we want to also now dive deeper into the archetypes. And so many of you that shared were the illusionist and the martyr. So we'll start with those two first. And the thing about having and building a wealthy identity, right, is to understand, how do you operate around wealth? And how do you manifest the things that you desire? And so if you're the illusionist, you're operating from a lot of what if. Like, what if this happens? What if this doesn't happen? Right? And what I call and fear, obviously, is that bucket, right? You're operating in a bucket called fear. And it's funny because a lot of people are like, I'm not afraid of anything. And I'm like, okay, but you might be going to bed worried about how you're going to pay a bill, or you might be worried about your children, or you might be worried about something. That's all fear. That's just the bucket. And so fear is not something to deny, right? It's something to simply be able to say, okay, my ego is keeping me out of the present moment. And so this is what I define ego as. It's past projection, future tripping. This is the definition of fear or worrying or being concerned about anything. Is what you're doing is your mind is taking past projections, basically anything in the past. And it could have been something you experienced, something you saw somebody experience, something you watched on a movie. Literally, like, how much information and ideas do we get inputted in, right? Whether it's on social media or it's the news. Like, for me, I don't watch the news. I don't feed myself more fear, right? That's a personal preference. But then, but I also have people sometimes in my life that are adding to the fear. They add their worries, they project their concerns, right? And so if you're operating from a lot of what if, then what you're doing is you're projecting the past experience, or even just a memory or a thought or the imagination, onto your future outcome. You're simply making it up. It's not real, right? I know everybody's probably heard the fear is, what, false evidence appearing real. Very true, right? So it's like you're taking this idea and then you're moving it into the future reality of your life. And let's see, I had a fear-based life and move forward in life with the fear on the back burner. Yes, of course. I always say, do things scared. Just do it anyway. Right? Do it scared. I just took off. I sold my car. I and transparently, I was nomadic for 2 years in the United States because I wanted to, but more importantly, I had a 5-pound little Chihuahua, little puppy dog, and he was my travel buddy, and that was even scary. Is like taking off on the road and traveling all the way from LA and stopping 1 month at a time all the way to Delaware, the East Coast. So imagine all the states that I went through, all the way back to the West Coast, and he was in my passenger seat. And I always said to him that when he passed, I would go international, because I made a very conscious choice that he was not going to get on an airplane at 16 years old, 17 years old, and he passed in January. And so it's been one of the hardest things to let go of, an 18-year-old dog that has been my like comfort, right? My ego loves comfort. And I was very attached to him, but I did it scared. I had never been out of the country. I've never been to Asia. And I bought a ticket 1 month after he passed. And I ended up in Thailand first for a month. And now I'm in Bali for what, 3 months now. And so you just do it scared, but this is how you master the ego. So it doesn't mean that I don't have fears. Clearly, we all have them, but we have to learn, what is the interrupt? What's the pattern interrupt that's going to get me over it and through it? And then how do I actually eliminate it? Right? So that's the opportunity. And oh, Christina, yeah, I used to be scared of the camera too. Actually, fun story, I was not a speaker until like 10 years ago.
Me
Like
either.
I mean, I was terrified. How many
Me
people
too.
like most people are scared of public speaking, right? The whole like one of the biggest fears in the world.
Mhm.
And I was that. I was totally that. And then here's the shift, guys, is I created an identity first. I said I was a speaker before I ever hit a stage. I said I was wealthy, and I said I was healthy, and I said I was, happy, all of that before it showed up, right? And so and then I did it scared. I did all of it scared. Definitely speaking. Now I've spoken to like over 500, 600 places, right? So so this is just an example of what the illusionist is doing. And so inside the illusion, you're using fear, you're using I can't do it, I can't do that, I can't do it because, and you add a reason, right? I can't do it because of my husband, I can't do it because of my dog. And so here's the fun story about BB, my dog, is I did catch myself using that statement. I can't go international because of my dog. And then I stopped myself and I went back to radical ownership. And I said, no, I'm actually consciously choosing not to do this because I prioritize my dog, because I prioritize the end of his life and I want to be with him. I want him to be with me. And I could have sent him off to my daughter. I could have sent him off to my ex-husband. I mean, I could have made other choices. But so many times that little word called can't is actually an ego trick, because it immediately puts a brick wall between you and your goals, you and your desires. And then there's no possibility inside of that. And this is the nuances, is like looking to see, what is my deflection when I don't know how to get where I'm going, or I'm scared to go where I'm going because I've never been there. And so illusionist is that, right? It's very much the limitation of the mind. It's making it all up. It's a perspective. I can't is a perspective. Fear, what ifs, worry is all a perspective. And trust me, if you make the ego and the trick, right, the ego trick primary, you will attract the evidence. And what I mean by that is every pattern has to be validated. Notice our patterns are like a program in a computer. You plug the program in, and then what does a program or a software on a computer do? It's just constantly, my dad was a computer programmer, so I kind of know this, but it's like it's constantly validated by the software, right? There's a validation, there's a command validation. And so when you're operating from ego, you're commanding something. Same thing from essence, but notice if we're always operating from ego, we're getting what we don't want. right? And so if you command the fear, if you say you constantly are focused on the fear perspective wise, and you're being the identity of that fear more than you are your essence, you will create evidence. And then you'll be able to, the ego will be like, see, I told you so. See, you had a right to be afraid. You had a right to stop yourself and don't do that and run, whatever it is. So that's my encouragement, is part of pattern breaking, part of moving from 3 to 4, where we all want to be, is we have to master the ego. We have to quiet the voice that says we can't, quiet the energy of the fear, right? And so that's the next level, is being able to do that on a minute by minute, second by second, actually, process. So then we have the martyr. The martyr loves guilt. It loves to internalize. And so this is where a lot of self-punishment and self-blame, or just like taking ownership of everybody else's, stuff, right? People pleasing. Anybody in here a yes man, right? Yes, I'll do it for you. I'll right? Like we say yes when we mean no. That is martyring. It's a big piece of this is self-compromise. Got it, right? I've got some confirmations of that. I used to be. Very good, Wanda, right? Don't be that anymore, right? And so all it does, though, is it's not like, this isn't to make us bad or wrong. None of this. It's to just help us understand how our ego is constantly trying to protect us from an experience or an emotion that we do not want to feel. And so if we are saying, if people pleasing, if we are in the yes when we really mean no, we are trying to avoid an experience. That's it. In our body, our nervous system is calibrating to the people pleasing more than it's calibrating to our self-worth. Okay. And it is operating from a place of limitation and lack of possibility. And then it can very much lead into fear, because it's like, if I don't people please, then what if they leave me, which is a fear, right? So those are all the different things. So when it comes to money, right? We either keep saying yes to a job or a business that no longer serves us. We keep saying yes to clients that aren't really aligned. We keep saying yes to things that just aren't in our best interest and our highest good, because we can't hear the highest good. We can only hear the ego that says, this is what's going to help you. This is what's going to save you. This is what's going to protect you and keep you from feeling something really uncomfortable. And that's what keeps us in the limitation, and it keeps us from the bank account that we really want, keeps us from the clients that we really want to serve, and the wealth identity that we really want to create for ourselves. Okay, so the martyr is, it's very tricky, because it feels very like you're being good, like you're being a good person. But what happens with that, the subtlety of that, like kind of the shadow side of that, is that good doesn't always mean you're aligned with you. It may feel like you're being good for others, but you're sacrificing something inside of you. And trust me, this was a hard one for me to break through with some of my family relationships. It still is. It's kind of like, I'm going to prioritize me. And I promise you, other people don't like it. They don't like it. But notice, them not liking it is actually not about me. It's about their stuff. It's their ego. It's their in like focus on their limitation, instead of supporting my growth and expansion and just my choice, right? And this is one of the biggest things about being in the elevated ascension phase, or moving into the essence of expression, is realizing everyone outside of you also has the same right as you, is to do what is best for them. Right? And so instead of judging others, so judgment is an ego trick. I call it position. And that's part of the rebel. I think we had a few rebels. And the rebel is very much, it's like, I need to get away from feeling anything. So I'm going to just point at everybody else. I'm going to judge others. I'm going to react to others. I'm going to push it out there. right? I'm going to get frustrated at other people because they're not doing what I expect. They're not doing what I want, right? And so the martyr can move from like, I feel guilty, all the way to like jump over to rebel and be like, but I'm frustrated. And this internal conflict starts to happen. And then we limit our ability, excuse me, to master our ego. And then therefore we limit ourselves from the things that we say we want. Okay. So if we're, and the other thing I love defining guilt. Anybody else feel guilty at times, right? Put a 1 if you have ever felt guilty. Like, I feel a little guilt once in a while. I don't feel like I should have done that, or I should have had that, or should say that, or any of that. And when it comes to money, a lot of times guilt is sabotaging you, because you're quietly being like, well, if I get wealthy, what about everybody else? What about my family? What if they aren't okay with it, or what if they want it? And then guilt, right, kicks in and keeps you away from it. And so guilt, this is my definition of guilt. I love this definition. It came to me years ago. So guilt is an ego trick. And I know that everybody wants to say they're making me feel guilty. That is not true. They can't make you feel guilty. You create guilt out of whatever they're saying or doing. And then guilt is this: if I can feel bad enough, then I don't have to take ownership of what I want, who I am, or what I have, or what I did. If I can feel bad enough, then I don't have to take ownership. Ownership, like, remember, I talked about radical ownership. Radical ownership is very uncomfortable at times. It's not always comfortable. And so the martyr feels guilty so that it doesn't have to take ownership. Because if you can just people please, then you don't have to take ownership of the fact that you want to say no, or you do want to say yes. And, right, everybody's expecting you to say no. Like, the point is guilt is a self-inflicted experience. It's not outside of you. It's the same thing with hurt, right? They hurt me. And I would encourage you to take on a new meaning of that. They don't hurt you. You activate hurt that's already been there. So if somebody's hurting you, they may have said something that reactivated an old belief loop that you have, such as like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not lovable, or something that's deep-seated, which is the source of all of these ego tricks, by the way. The ego trick is not the source of your pattern. The ego trick is simply the symptom and the flag that raises its hand when you don't want to be with the experience that you've created about yourself. So no one can hurt you. No one can make you feel guilty, because if you do that, if you give them that power, you just slipped back into step 1, actually, victimship. If you give them that power, you just slip back into victimship. And any ego trick is really victim. We're still slipping back into victimship in some level. And so we're in 3, right? We're working on the belief patterns. We're in that elevated ascension, but we're still slipping into ego. And that's why I want you guys to be super hyper aware of what ego tricks are playing for you. In this case, what your archetypes are that are predominant. So we've done illusionist, right? The fear, the can'ts, the confusion. I don't know how. Then we have the martyr, which is the guilt, the shame, the disappointment. How many of you get disappointed in other people or yourself? Huge, right? Like, you're disappointed in you. That's all martyring. It's all ego. And then the realist, or the rebel, I mentioned the rebel already, is it's anger. It's any version of anger, right? It's like irritation all the way to rage. Like, I'm irritated, I'm annoyed, to frustrated, to I'm angry, right? I'm really mad. I used to teach my children, number one, any parents in here, I'm like, I started working on this stuff not only for myself, but I wanted to break the cycles, right? And so I wanted to be a conscious parent. And when she was like 10, I would be like, mad equals sad, because she would get mad. She would throw the tantrums, right? We all do. And I was like, when you drop out of mad and you can feel your sadness, then we can talk. But I'm like, I taught her mad equals sad, because underneath all of the ego tricks is a sadness. It's an experience that hasn't been resolved because you're emotionally still attached. And so underneath every ego trick, mad equals sad, guilt equals sad, anger equals sad, all of it. And in Rebel, there's also addiction and position, which is judgment and opinion and being right. How many of you need to be right? How many have to be right about everything? Like your ego cannot be wrong. It just feels so uncomfortable. It's so foreign. And then there's addictions, whether the traditional ones that you know all about. Sorry. Or it can be, I work too much, or I'm addicted to working out, or I'm addicted to Netflix, or I'm addicted, right? We all have our version of addiction, and more importantly, our distraction. So distractions can be addictions as well. We can scroll, we can live on TikTok, we can see everybody else's life and comparison, right? Is another ego trick. So these things are simply the immediate awareness of which voice is speaking. This is the whole point of these archetypes, but that's not where the work stops. If you can be aware that you're angry, you can be aware that you're feeling guilty, you can be aware that you're controlling and trying to, figure everything out in your head, how, what, when, where, which is the realist. The realist wants to have control. The realist wants to know how, what, when, where before it takes a step. The realist wants to have the when thens. When this is happening, then I'll do this. When I have the money, then I'll invest. This is the biggest one I had when I moved to California from Texas, was when I sell the house, then we'll move. Do you know that that's not what the reality happened? I was so sabotaging our move because in June it hadn't sold and we needed to move in July in order to start Sophie in high school. And I was like, I caught my ego, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am win-thinning. And I'm like, what if we move and the house hasn't sold? What's the problem in that? And my realist, because that is my predominant, is I have to have everything prepared. I have to have everything lined up. I have to have all of the conditions taken care of. Money, like the sale of the house. I needed the money from the house, apparently. If you hear yourself saying, I need, you are a realist. I have to. No, that's ego. And so guess what? Instead, when I caught the wind then, I immediately picked a date. I stopped the wind then, and I said, we're moving in 1 month, regardless of conditions. And that was the catalyst for everything unfolding for me for my next chapter. And we did. I went from June 9th going, oh my God, I'm wind-thinning, right? To breaking the pattern and then just picking a date and moving. And the house didn't sell until September. But I moved anyway. The money also resolved itself because I thought my limitation, the limiting part of my brain was like, I have to have the money of the house in order to move. I have to have the money in order to move. No, the money came in elsewhere. This is the magic of the essence. Your wealth is not determined by your ego, meaning it's limited by your ego. Let me correct myself. It's limited by your ego. The money can show up in a million different ways. Wealth can show itself in so many different ways, but we are the ones that condition it and put it in a box and say, I can only see this way, so this is how it has to go in order for me to have. That is the limitation. It's the sabotage. And it happens on an autopilot. It's happening without you even realizing because it's been conditioned that way. The ego has been conditioned to figure things out. Notice we all went to school. And what is the whole structure? I'm not here to debate schools. I'm here to show you the condition and structure and all of the things that we were kind of brought up in. We were brought into this, you go to class 1, you go to class 2, you go to here and you get an A, and you it's very conditioned. There's no creative creativity in it. It was a structure. And I know Christina and I are like shaking our heads, right? It's like, yes, indoctrinated very much, but our egos indoctrinate us. We sign up for these games and then we spend the rest of our life unraveling all of the patterns that we chose as children and young adults, etc. And so we're not the victims of that. We're not going to be the victim of our school system. We're going to start choosing consciously, hyper aware, and in the driver's seat as the essence that we are. And so those are the four archetypes, right? So that's the realist, the rebel, the martyr, and the illusionist. And then there's a bundle inside of each of those archetypes of all of the.
Is it Miss Jennifer? No, maybe I should call her.
And inside of those archetypes is a bundle of ego tricks that kind of make those archetypes up. That's just how I simplified it for you guys. And so that way you can tell on the idea is to start seeing yourself every day, right? It's like, which ego trick am I using right now? Now, this took me years. I was introduced to, I created the archetypes probably like 8 years ago, but I was introduced to obviously my own patterns years and years ago, like 15 to 20 years ago. And I was like, how do I control my ego? And it's taken me years to figure out what is the window? Where's the gap? How can I shorten the distance between my awareness of my ego, and then my ego actually running my choices, like literally getting angry at my spouse or saying or doing the win then. I told the whole house thing, the win then, that ego trick, it lasted fully 6 months from the moment we decided to sell the house to the moment I recognized it. It lasted 6 months and kept limiting our reality. And I was like, it took me 6 months to even notice I was in an ego trick. So I have simplified this. I have literally figured out that neuroscience has actually proven this, that there is a 3-second gap between when the amygdala gets activated by the trigger, the activation in your environment that says, oh, we might be in danger here. Oh, wait a minute. I need to control this money thing in order to move to California. So I'm going to create a win then. Right? It's 3 seconds between when the amygdala hears and feels the activation in your nervous system. This is literally a nervous system response to the point that it moves to your frontal lobe and makes a decision. 3 seconds. And I promise you, we are all jumping over those 3 seconds. We are constantly, notice how many thoughts a day we have. Notice how many choices and decisions we make on a daily basis. We are making those 3 seconds. How many 3 seconds have we already gone through in this conversation? 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds. We're constantly in that movement from what does the nervous system feel to the decision maker that's driving our identity. So I came up with the ego hacks in order to shift out of ego in the 3-second window. And it's literally based on which archetype is running and which one you're predominantly using, which again is the first step, is like you got to get really good at recognizing it, like every minute, every day. And I even have a feeling that you guys are hearing your own ego right now. Like there is, thanks Smyrna for being here. And that there is an ego speaking like, this doesn't work for me, or this, like there could be a conversation going on in the 3 seconds that says, I hear you, but I don't believe you, right? Like, I mean, whatever is going on, even on this call, there is this chance that the 3-second has already passed you, right? The ego's already won. And so I came up with these ego hacks per archetype, right? Each archetype has a little different approach so that you can start to not only practice identifying the ego, but then breaking the pattern of the ego in the 3-second window gap. And when you start behaving in alignment with your essence, but if you don't stop long enough to get your essence into the driver's seat, your ego will continue to drive the bus. That's what's happening. And so, like I said, we'll share that resource here in a moment, as to how to get that. And it's so powerful. And I mean, I have tons of people, operating from that. All of my clients use it. And what's happening is, people are going into I have one client that's like a rocket scientist, and brilliant, obviously. So ego doesn't matter how intelligent you are. It actually loves it. He's like, oh, good, I'm smarter now. The ego's like, you keep informing me of things I can I can take control of. But he kept creating an experience at his job where he was in trouble, right? Like getting like a probation or like a review, or these conversations. And we went through this process that I'm introducing to you, and the reality of this meeting that he had to have every week, right? The boss is like, you need to be, on probation for this amount of time. Immediately, poof, went away. He's like, I don't even have a reason for it. They just canceled it. They didn't even tell me. I showed up. I'm sitting in the conference room and nobody shows up. He's like, I manifested a reality that literally was the opposite of what I was behaving in. And it's because of the work. And I was like, and he's like, and it freed him, right? I mean, just imagine, right? Like, it's pretty confronting to have to be reviewed every week. And he's like, it's gone. There's not even a reason. Like, it just disappeared. And this is how powerful, when we are operating from our essence, our infinite being, our infinite abundance. Keep in mind, this is my belief. Try it on if you want. But I believe that our highest self, our true self, and remembering who you really are, because you already are this. The ego has covered it up. And I believe we are all infinite resource, infinite source of all things. We have all possibility available to us. All possibilities exist in the now moment. It's just an idea. Everything exists. But we are the ones limiting the possibility of that existence. And so if we are the infinite being, we are also infinite abundance. So we're talking wealth identity here. This is all about returning out of ego, back to essence, recognizing that you already are wealthy. You already are wealthy. And I want, and just transparently, guys, just tell me the truth. How many of you believe that right now, that you're wealthy? And I mean, don't make it up. Like, if you're like, I doubt it a little, like, I don't have any proof. Put a 1 in the chat if you can at least resonate with what I'm saying. Like, I don't 100% feel I'm wealthy. It's really okay. This is because we haven't fully moved into number 4. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your transparency. I'm there too. There's moments where my ego is way louder that says, nope, 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 nope. We are the limitation of the thing that I see in my bank account. We are the digits in the bank account. And therefore, I must do more. I must be more. I must be more love. I must be more effort. I must, right? It's going to come in and limit your ability to just be who you already are. Very good, Edgar, right? It's like, I feel wealthy. And more important, beyond feeling, is know wealthy. I know I am, right? The identity that says I am who I am, which is infinite resource of all things. The only reason we don't have the wealth in the bank or the numbers that we want to see is because we're still looking for those numbers to make us feel something. So it's like, when I have this money, then I'll feel safe. When I have this bank account with these digits on it, then I will be wealthy, right? Then I will be validated in some way, right? Then I'll be successful, right? This whole definition of success. What if we have the whole thing backwards? Literally backwards. What if we started with the wealth and the success and the wholeness and the love and the infinite, and we started there, and then we chose to be human, right? We chose to come into this human experience, and because we chose to be human, part of the requirement, part of the agreement was we had to have amnesia. We started life. This is what I believe at this moment. I've come to this. It's not where I always was. Is that the requirement and the prerequisite in order to truly experience all that we can experience as a human, and is to actually play the game of limitation. It's like we came into this human experience to find out, what does it look like for the thing that we are, the infinite self? What does it look like to put limitation on the thing that we are? What does it look like? Like, how does it play out? What's the game look like? It's like a Monopoly game. It's like, okay, what if I said that you don't own Boardwalk? Sorry about that. I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting there. What if you don't own Boardwalk? What if you aren't the board of Monopoly, right? I'm going to break the board up. The board is what you were. It's who you are. You own it all. You are everything. You won already. But I'm going to bring you into this human experience, and we're going to chop the board up into all these little spaces, and you have to figure out how to own them and get them and buy them and make money, right? And it's like, that's the limitation. The truth is, you are the board. You're already the winner of the whole thing. You own it all. You are the wealth. You are the, right? It's like we come into this human experience in order to actually experience the limitation that we're not. And so I believe if we're really going to be a 4, right, essence expression, we must return to who we actually are, which is already wealthy, already have everything that we need. We're all the love that we desire. We're the infinite resource of all of it. But what the exercise is, right, the practice to move from 3 to 4 is to master the ego. It's time to master the ego. So before I want to start to wrap this up, but I've said a lot. We've gone through the consciousness architecture, as I call it, right? The 4 stages of life, of evolution. We've gone through the 4 archetypes of the ego, just to introduce you to all of the 15 pattern behaviors, and the deflections of each of those is actually what's next, right? That's what we need to understand to the highest ability, because on a daily basis, 3 seconds at a time, the ego is taking over our decision making. It is creating our identity, and it's continuing to validate the pattern by continuing to give you the evidence that your ego is searching for to continue the pattern. If your current bank account is not where you want to be, it is because up until today, until this conversation, your ego is validating it. It's like a validation of the command. I have this amount in the bank account. It does not go above this amount, or it goes up and it comes back down. The ego is continuing to validate that command. And the only way to start to create a different wealth experience in your reality is to shift from today forward, where you operate from essence and not ego. So that's the overview. And then, like I said, I'll share the solution to that. But I want to hear from you guys now. You can ask me questions like, how do I do this? Or what is what ego trick is this? Whatever it is. And you can share with me what you're trying to accomplish. If you're not sure what the question is, share with me what you're trying to accomplish, and I can help you figure out what's in the way. But I'd love to take a couple questions and just work with you guys on this, and so that you get the most out of it. Who would like to jump on in? You can raise Michael. Is that you? Welcome. Oops. I think I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you? Yeah, it's cutting out. Is that me or him?
It might be a mistake. Michael, you're off of mute. No, he put himself back on mute. It might have been a mistake.
Oh, maybe. Okay, okay. Got it, got it. Yeah, feel free to raise your hand. I've got a couple questions here in the chat, which I can start with, but you can hit the little raised hand icon if you want on Zoom. And I don't know if we have any comments. I'm not looking at YouTube. So what is the solution for the illusionist? Yeah, isn't that the question, right? So the illusionist, right? So tell me, so Maya, I hope that's how we're saying it, if I'm saying it correctly. What is the experience you have? Like, what is it that you notice about your illusionist? Are you worried about things? Are you afraid of something? Are you focused on what you can't do? Like, how does it play out for you? And you can open up if you're available. Okay.
I guess I worry a little, but
Mm-hmm.
in the recent year or so, I have had some luck kind of faking the funk and being able to manifest really cool miracles. But there's most of the time I get really, really close
Yes.
and it just doesn't go all the way through.
Yeah. There's a sabotage or I call it like the rubber band, right? Like you kind of stretch and you're like there and then it pops back. Is
Yeah,
that what
but
it feels like?
but I am a very positive person. Like I've learned and, worked on the limiting beliefs for the past few years. I've been on a healing journey. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling myself, no, I can't do this. I'm not I'm not feeding myself negative, thoughts or words or anything like that. And I'm always positive. People would call me Delulu if they knew the way that I think and
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know, it's just kind of weird. I get really close and then it just doesn't happen.
What is the close about? Like meaning like close to what?
Close to the different things that I try to manifest. Like the small,
Is it?
they
Yeah.
do come to fruition, but it's
Mm-hmm.
the larger numbers or the larger
Mm.
Lulus that don't.
Yes. So what is so what's happening in my assessment is that the smaller things are easier because there's no resistance whatsoever. The ego has no play in it. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can get a free coffee. I can, or whatever, right? Whatever the small things are for you. But the bigger things start to come up against an activation. There's something that starts to feel a little less available. And again, it's not all about just positive thinking. There's actually something that your nervous system is calibrated to that likes to stay where it's at. All of our nervous systems are calibrated. Keep in mind, the ego is attached to the nervous system. So fight, flight, or freeze, right? That kind of thing. And so when your nervous system is calibrated to the small things, there is no resistance to it popping into your reality. And you're like, yay, thank you, yay, this works. But when the bigger things, and so tell me something that feels like a stretch or the bigger thing that you're mentioning, like which one isn't happening?
Okay, I guess I'll use like a very recent example. Recently
Sure.
some things happened where I really, really needed to figure out this whole trust situation. And I got a trust for like $800 with this company that didn't do an irrevocable trust. And then literally maybe 3 weeks ago, I don't even know how, Christina's YouTube page just popped up and I was introduced to her. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the very newest students. And I was like, oh my God, this is godsend. Like Christina is literally after every
Yep.
video of hers that I was watching, I was like, oh my God, thank you God. Like I was just like so grateful. And then, I got a call with someone that told me about, the program. So I got to upgrade to the
Mm-hmm.
do it yourself. So that was one of the smaller things. But then I guess for me, like the larger thing was, I really wish I could do the do it with you. And but I was still very, very grateful, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
that just recently happened. I recently got a text
Mm-hmm.
where I was able to I'm going to start the Do It With You program with her on Monday. I'm really excited, but
Yay. Yes.
I don't know, like that's like the most recent thing that happened.
So part of the kind of my experience too, actually, like how I found Christina. Thank God for her YouTube. Keep it
Yeah.
up. But it's so let me ask you this. What are you making it mean? What are you making it mean about like you spent the $800 on the non-irrevocable, meaning you wanted the irrevocable, it's probably a revocable one. What is it? What are you making it all mean?
I feel like that was my spirit guides, my angels. It was just something I had to learn and realize that, no, this isn't the way. So like the blockages that happen, I feel like I'm being protected. And then once I found Christina's YouTube page, I was like, oh, okay, this is why that one didn't work, because I wasn't supposed to do a regular trust anyway.
Correct.
And and then once I realized that there's even like a course that teaches you how to do it, because I was like, oh, okay, these videos are awesome, but like, how do I do this? And then I saw that she actually had a course, and it just kept going up from there.
Yes. So very good. So I feel like, what I hear inside of it a little bit is maybe a little bit of attachment to when and how fast things happen. It's kind of like it's happening, but it's like maybe not happening as fast as you want.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
1000% correct.
Okay. All right. Very good. So that is part of the ego. So what happened is you not so much moved from the illusionist might be your primary, but you moved into the realist really quickly. The realist is attached to outcome. When is this going to happen? I really want it now. Kind of the ego. It's like, remember, the ego for me, this is what I call it. It's a 5-year-old toddler. The ego is a 5-year-old. It's our little 5-year-old primal instinct running around going, no, I don't want to share my toys. No, I don't want to wait. Right?
Yeah.
I want to do this now, but your higher self is reminding you that everything happens and unfolds as it's supposed to, as your nervous system is ready for. So things would happen faster and quicker and quantum leap if your nervous system is ready and calibrated to it. And so, and how do, yes, like how do we do that, right? And so obviously we have to get underneath the source of why the nervous system isn't. Kind of like it's so comfortable with things like slowly happening almost for its own comfort, right? The nervous system is like, if you throw me out there to the sharks, I'm going to panic. If you throw me out into the big things, I'm going to panic. So I'm going to pull you back into the things that I can handle and slow things down a little bit. It's kind of like that. It's like very primal, right? And our ego then uses these unconscious type behaviors that are very nuanced, and you have enough self-awareness and you're doing the work, which is fantastic. It's why you're probably in 3, right? Level 3, you're in the work. And so the next level for you is to start to pay attention to the nervous system that says you can't have it yet. It's kind of like, we're a little uncomfortable and we don't know how it's going to happen. And we really want it now. We need it now. But the now may not be of your highest and good. Like it may, like you said, like this is true for me too. Like I spent thousands of dollars and I heard of irrevocable trust in 2021. And then but I kept going through all these people that didn't teach the irrevocable. And I was like, this is not it. This is not it. This is not it. And it took, I think I joined Christina in 23. And then I wasn't even I believe it was 23, fully ready to even dive into what it means to be the identity of owning a trust. Like you guys, this trust conversation is an identity work. This is like, who are you? Like, if your ego is still stuck in the old paradigms, this is going to rock your nervous system. This is going, so the good news is that you're very aware that you want this. You know the difference. You've educated, your higher self has introduced you to the difference between revocable and irrevocable and the benefits within. And you want to play you simply are choosing to play a different game than the revocable game. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It just means we wanted to play the irrevocable game because it has different benefits. And so it's almost like you had to, being a trustee is a new identity, 100%. And letting go of being a grantor, right? The whole game. So what I encourage you to look at is just like, where is the resistance in your nervous system, but more in and then that resistance, that attachment, which is what is actually underneath all ego tricks, is attachment. I just summarize it. Like everything that the ego is trying to protect us from is an attachment of some sort. Go ahead. Are you going to say something?
It's just I get a little bit confused after years and years of watching different manifestation videos, because half of them say, write this 3 times, 6 times, 9 times, and then every day recite this and feel it. And then the other half, they say, write it, decide it, and completely forget about it. So which one is it? Are we supposed to embody it every single day and live and breathe it? Or do we decide it and forget?
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, realist. That's a realist question. Not bad. Great. Right? Awareness. The realist is here. And the realist is like, I need to make sense of this. Okay. And so my question back to you would be, which method resonates for you? Not looking at what it's going to get you. Like, okay, if I do it this way, I have a lot of work of like writing it down 10 times a day and the 3-6-9 and the I have to do all these things in order to manifest. Or I can just choose it and declare it and then be it, and it'll show up when it's ready to show up. Which one of those to your highest self resonates? Not your ego that's looking for the answer.
Recently, being present without having thoughts and literally saying thank you, thank you, thank you all day.
Yes.
Not all day, but saying thank you many times. In the last 4 or 5 days that I started doing this, I've been having really cool things, like surprising awesome things happen. So
Yes.
being present, not thinking thoughts, and just saying thank you a lot, many times has
All day long. Yep. Yeah. So what if that's right? What if that's the answer? And all your ego is doing is like, I don't know if I'm safe in that answer. I need you to come back to the certainty. I need you to come back to figuring this out so that you do it right.
Yeah.
Your ego is the only one that's got the confusion going on, because it's safer in the nervous system for you to wonder if it's going to work if you do this thing. If you do it this way, my nervous system is calibrated to, if I do it this way, then I know it'll work. The nervous system wants certainty. It wants to make sense of manifestation. It wants to make sense of how you're doing this, like the how, right? The realist needs the how. And what if what's true is that you already have everything you want and you don't need any of it?
Mm-hmm.
The biggest message for everyone here is the moment you want everything you want the money, you want the wealth, you want the trust, you want you want to play the irrevocable trust game, you want to set it up, you want, do it out of the desire, but not require it. Desire, not require, is my game around manifestation. It means, oh, I would love that or something better, and I don't need any of it. It's in the need of the ego that we get stuck. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just said thank you, Jena. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hold on. Super duper question, like huge. That was great. Diana, welcome. Hello, beautiful.
Hi.
How are you?
It's a pleasure. Like I was saying, I'm pretty much a dream builder coach, and I like to manifest. love all that. Now, what do you do when your spouse is just not on board with you? Like, I wanted to create the trust, I want to do whole life insurance, I want to do all, and he's like, no, not now. Think about it. And it's been like over a year. I've been with Christina probably so long. And I've just been patient and waiting and so that's where I'm at. I'm
Got
just
it.
in the just waiting stage, being patient. Yes, God's timing, yes. And I'm just that wrote that comment. I'm just waiting for my husband. But
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Thank you. And I appreciate you bringing the question back because I definitely wanted to talk to that question that you had at the beginning. So a couple things that I would just ask is, one, why do you think you created the husband
why did I
that isn't
create the
on board?
No, he's been good. I mean, we're married 40 years and I feel like we're a team. We're meant to be together, but it's like yin and
Mhm.
yang. And he's always the procrastinator. He's worried. He's from Brooklyn, so he doesn't trust anybody. And who's this Christina? And like he's just all about not trusting. So
Yeah.
that's
So
where
is that his essence or his ego?
that's well, both, I guess. I guess it's just the way he is. It's his it's his essence, and I guess it's his ego just protecting his protection ego. Got to protect the
Right.
family and make sure we make the right decisions and all that.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm at.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to figure out how to make him feel comfortable enough to go forward.
Okay.
I don't know if is
So I apologize. I want to make sure you can hear me because there's a little cut up and I don't know if that's me or your video. So just tell me. It might be a little bit of, so can you hear me okay? You can still hear me?
yes.
Okay. So you do this work. You know a lot of this information, right? And ways of being. And I want to just like elevate this for you and just try it on, right? Just something to try on is life is just an echo of who we are. And people in our life are an echo and a mirror of who we are. So there's something that your husband is a mirror of that's actually you. So what part of you is using him to wait? He's just a mirror of your self, your aspect of self that has a need, like the ego's need to protect you, to feel safe, to stay safe in the relationship, to stay safe in your perspective, you're right. Like it's really subtle, and I can hear it underneath the words. We lost her. I think we lost her. Ooh, that's okay. She should come back.
I know it's kind of triggering me too. I'm like, really? That is so true, right? Like that
I know.
person is a
This is
mirror.
the advanced. Yep.
Yes, right? That person is a mirror. So
Yes.
listen, my cup is full.
Oh, I know. I was like, okay, this is such a good question because for those of us that are in the work, we know the work. We've done a lot of work, but I mean,
Right.
look,
I'm always
I
in the
just
work.
left the,
You never finished with the work.
no, I'm
You're
not
always
done.
in
I'm never done. Yeah. Till the day I die.
right.
It's all good. Okay, good. You're
So
back.
he's a
So,
reflection. He's a reflection of my thoughts.
he's a
Boy.
reflection uh, of an aspect of you. So people in our life, this is so fascinating. There's three versions of a person. How do I say this? There's three reasons a person shows up in our reflection of life. One, they're the mirror, the echo. Two, they're the wisdom. Or three, they're the activator. That's how I put it. And so people come into our lives like, you guys have created me. You have created me. You wouldn't, I mean, there's plenty of people that didn't choose to show up here. You created this conversation. I'm just the transmission. And so you are seeing me, and each of you have your own aspect of self that is seeing me, and I'm either activating you and like I'm part of your journey, I'm part of your expansion, I'm bringing you forward in your journey to better things. I mean, like that activator, or, and I can activate, even if I trigger you, that's an activation, that's a good thing. Or I'm the wisdom, like I'm just here to support you with some kind of wisdom that's going to enlighten you. Or I'm the mirror, I'm the echo, I'm activating the shit out of you right now, and you're like, I'm out of here. I want to run. My ego wants to like hide and seek. I don't like you, you know, whatever. The ego is like in charge, and it's I'm the mirror of something that you're not willing to own in self.
Interesting.
So for you, Diana, your husband is simply a mirror of something limited still inside of self. And he's just the voice. So notice how many times people will show up and they'll say the exact thing that you're like, I just thought that about myself. Or I just said that to myself, or it's a belief I don't want to have anymore, or it's like, no, I don't believe that. I like, it's his problem. It's like, why? But you're sitting back waiting. What are you waiting for? Permission? What are you waiting for? Safety of the relationship? Because if you take the lead and you do this thing and you say, I've got this, husband, I've got this. I know you don't trust it. I know you need proof. I know your ego needs to feel safe. I know you don't like all the ego that he's presenting, which is not bad. We all do it. We all have egos. I proved it today. Every single one of us has an ego. So, but he's holding your ego hostage. You're waiting. And I would imagine 40 plus years is a long time to be in a pattern with a human being. I was in a 22-year marriage. I uncoupled in 23. I love him. We're actually really good friends still. We're still family, but I'm not encouraging divorce. That's not my point. I'm saying I married a pattern. You married a human 40 plus years ago based on the human you were. And you're growing, you're expanding, you're like doing the work. I know you are, right? And he may just not be pacing with you at the same level, which is fine. But there is something in you that says, I need to wait for him to get on board. That is the limitation inside of you, not him. It's not about him.
Well, when we have different things jointly together, it's kind of when you're doing the paperwork,
It feels very rocky. I got it.
You need
I got it.
Yeah, you need both sides. So I just have to, okay. So is there thoughts that I could think to make it flow better?
Yeah, so I think the first step is for you to take, I mean, this is the step one, right? Radical ownership, owning that you've created them. You're creating the conversation, the script. You're creating this like limitation, this hesitation. Okay. And then own it, that it's your own hesitation. Pull it into self, because if you don't start with you, you have no power to change any of it. Then coming from that stance, coming from the identity that you know, and that you know that this is for our highest good. Like if you come to him and say, honey, I know I can't explain it to you fully. You may not even be able to hear my explanation, but I need you to trust me. I need you to trust me because I trust me. So it starts with you first. You got to trust you first. You got to know who you are. You got to choose the identity of a trustee, right? You got to step into the identity that already is, that says, this is done. This is already done. This year of waiting for him to get on board, he will never get on board with you hesitating. This is what's available, is when you come from your power, and that's all that's happening is you've got some ego, a little bit of martyring that says, and a little bit illusionist probably, that says, what if I go forward with this? Will this relationship make it? If, I mean, like remember, it goes to primal, the primal thing of the ego, the 5-year-old toddler that says, I'm going to lose him, right? If I don't do it his way, I'll lose him. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, cerebral, right? But your ego, your nervous system is still preparing for like the worst. Your nervous system is still holding out a little bit. And you're very like intellectual and smart about it, and you know this isn't the end of things, but your ego is terrified. And it's hesitating.
Okay.
It's holding back. It's slowing it down. Why do we not quantum leap into the things that we know that we know that we know? Is simply because the ego is not ready. It's like, I'm going to hold your nervous system here. I think she fell off again. It's going to hold you hostage just enough and blame the husband. Right? It's like she said at the beginning, none of the questions applied to her. I'm like, but what if they do? There you are. Okay. I wasn't talking too much about you. I was like, what if the questions I just said, what if the questions did actually apply to you? And it's not to the higher version of you. I know you were probably looking at those questions going, I'm higher than this. You are way more ascended. But I would love for you to answer the quiz from what you do in the quiet moments when your ego is loud. Just answer it, meaning like, all right, if my ego were to answer this question, what would it do?
I'm pretty much, I really let go of ego a long time ago. I mean, I'm there, but I don't let ego control me. I really am spiritually guided now. I really feel
100%.
like, but
yeah,
when you're living in a spiritual world and you're in the world and you see what's going on, it's a little frustrating because I'm like, just go with it. Just go with the flow. And you just kind of go with it more so when you're in the spirit and not of the world. So that's where we have challenges.
Yeah.
So when you're married to someone in the
3D world, right? So the spirit is just essence, right? So you're wanting to operate so much more from essence, and there's someone that still has a really strong ego. Yet your ego is the one hesitating you and not doing this trust tomorrow. So okay. I love you. I'm just offering.
Is there any kind of visual work that I could work on him? I know we have to work on us, but I feel like I'm so connected.
Well, sure. So first, yeah. So I would just first work on you first, your identity, your knowing. You do it scared. It's kind of like, hey, we're gonna have this conversation with husband that says, trust me. I know you don't trust Christina. I can't, unless you want to join the calls and learn then you get proof and you trust her. Okay. But like, I'm doing this work. I know what I know. And so you got to do the work here on self in order to then show up to him differently. He will shift when you shift. You know this, right? So work on you first. So you visualize you having that conversation. You visualize you having the embodiment, the full embodiment of the knowing that I am doing the right thing because I am spiritually guided. I am following my higher self, and I got it that my husband is terrified. Okay, so what? And I'm going to have a really loving, compassionate conversation with him from my embodiment. You embody all of it. Then he will either be like, who is this person? And step back, right? His ego can disarm. Or, truth be told, you and me both have no control over your husband. He may not like it. But that's what your nervous system is trying to prepare for. And I just encourage you to get your nervous system first completely embodied, that I am safe no matter how the conversation goes. I am safe in my decision. I am spiritually guided to this decision, and I am going to show him through love and compassion. And you're going to honor his fears. How do you have that conversation? You honor his fears. You recognize them, you acknowledge them. And then you stay in your embodiment. So that's the practice. I mean, we could go on and
Thank
on. If you want more, let me know.
Thank you, Jena.
Really, really, really powerful. Oh, so good. So good. Okay. Love you. Thank you. Okay, real quick, LaWanda, I want to repeat the 3 people real quick, and then we're going to wrap up, and we're going to send the link to you for everyone that needs to grab the protocol so that you guys finally know how to master the ego and start manifesting the things that you want by being actually aware of the subtleties of the ego going on. So the 3 people that show up, like everybody's in our movie, right? All these characters are in our movie. And for me, there's 3 reasons they're there. One is the mirror or the echo, call it whichever one, the mirror. 2 is the wisdom. Like even somebody popping up on your Instagram that just says something that you needed to hear, like the wisdom, right? Maybe something here today offered you the wisdom that needed to shift. Then the activator. The activator is so much about like, oh, this person is here. I mean, they're in my life. They're a friend for a season, maybe. They're a colleague. They're Christina. They're me. There's something where it's like, we are here to move you down your evolution. We are here to move you to the next level. We're activating something in your life and a new trajectory. Almost. Okay, so those are the 3 names. And yes, thank you for making it, and recording will be in your hands soon. Anyway, I hope that answers some of your questions. I trust that this has been of service to you. And, you know, I want you to imagine this is what's available to you is a course that I created that really dives deep into what are these ego tricks happening, and like really being able to see like behind the thoughts, behind the words, behind the behaviors of self and others, right? I'm not telling you to go out there and point at everybody else's ego, but the moment you start seeing yourself, then you can start to recognize other people and give them a little more compassion. And then that softens your attachments, that softens your expectations. So I created this course that's called Shut Up Ego. Hello, it's what I say to myself all the time. Shut up, ego. I'm in charge here, right? And hold on one second so I can finish what I'm saying. And so when I personally have mastered the 3-second window, as I mentioned before, this course is going to show you what those 3-second behaviors, those steps, the hack, the how. What do I do to master the illusionist? What do I do to quiet the martyr? What do I do to get rid of the rebel and the realist? This is the do, okay? And it's only $27, guys. Like, I don't know what the value is to you of this conversation today, but I promise you it's worth 10 times that. And I just highly recommend you take advantage. I mean, for 27, cost of dinner, you are going to absolutely learn something that's going to help you change the trajectory of your wealth and your identity and your trust identity, right? Like you building this trust, you working in this capacity requires this self-awareness. Yet awareness is insufficient. You must break the pattern. You must break the pattern and interrupt it in the 3-second window gap. How many 3 seconds have we moved through today, right? Like Diana, how do I change him? Nope, 3 seconds, new perspective. It's not my husband, right? This is the 3-second window gap, and I'm going to show you exactly how in this course. And so you can start to imagine money and opportunities like Somaya, it's going to start landing in your lap, and it's going to look like things that just start to show up. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's the miracle. Oh my gosh, this is what I was asking for. Oh my gosh, things are starting to feel easier. They're working. It's like coming into your world because you, the ego you, is not blocking it. And your 3 seconds is all about where do you shift your perspective and help your nervous system recalibrate to a new identity. And then I want you to also start moving on the nudge instead of hesitating, instead of waiting a year or waiting a month or waiting whatever it is, and stop second guessing and overanalyzing and overthinking. This is going to solve that. If any of you are overthinkers, $27. Please help yourself. Then I want you to think about like manifesting from your soul. Like Diana just said, I'm spiritually guided. I want to listen to my essence. I want to listen to my higher guidance. Well, you can't hear that voice if you don't quiet the ego. I'm just telling you from experience. I have lived my life, first half, ego, loud, victim, can't get out of it, depressed. I was even clinically depressed, put on medication because all I could do was suppress my emotions and only listen to the victim ego. And then I was like, there's something better here. There's something I know I can do this. Like I can figure. So I've spent 15, 20 years figuring out this 3-second window and giving it to you. And I just want you to like wake up to the version of you that you already are. That's what the last message I want to share. You already are everything that you want. You already are that. You are the wealth. You are the trustee. You are the great parent. You are the great wife, like, and husband, and whatever it is that you're creating in your life. And this is the opportunity to finally just receive it. It's not even like go do it and make it all happen. And I'm not saying action isn't required in some form, but we are too much ego in our actions. And this is also going to show you how to do that. How to like align yourself with your essence so that you're not operating from the ego. Okay, that's my spiel. They put the link in there. Ivy, she just posted the link for the $27 Shut Up Ego course, and it's very short. It's not very lengthy. It's not going to take you days and days and days to go through. I want you to get a win quickly. I hope you guys have had wins. So that's my final question. You guys can watch the replay if you want more refresher, and I would love if you could put one word in the chat. What is your takeaway today? What is it that you created out of this experience together? And leave that in the chat for me. You're welcome, Derek. I do too. I appreciate everyone. Awareness. Mind blown. Yay. I like that one. Excuse me, hold on. Activated, hopefully in a good way. I have come to terms with being an activator.
You definitely are.
Am I? And to your question, Christina, yes, people can be all three. Absolutely.
Oh yes. Yes.
Oh yes. I'm usually all three for everybody.
Right, I know, yeah. I feel like I serve as all three for people sometimes, but I also feel like there are certain people in my life that they serve as all three for me.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Some are very much more, there's a meaningfulness to that relationship and the purpose and the why they're there for you, like why are they showing up, right? And why have we created them? So yeah, for sure. Especially my clients. I think I've got to be all three, I'm there to mirror what they are or what they're not. I'm there to activate them, and I'm certainly there to add wisdom. Alignment, encouragement. Oh, I love this. I'm still back at Edgar, like mind quad. What is that? What is that?
Mind quad. He made it up.
That one. He made it up. I love it. Excited. I'm so excited that my throat chakra is like kicking my butt right now.
Right. You need to wear blue.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, that. I'm gonna go rest my throat. But I thank you for putting up with my cough. I was not gonna miss today at all. And this has been so good. Mind quad. But what does it mean?
Right. I know. We need the full definition. Okay. We need the Webster.
Go ahead, Edgar. Okay. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say thank you so much because you actually like activated a lot of dormant pathways in my brain. So I was like, when you were going through the whole process with Diana, like I was learning a lot because like me, And I like how you use the word uncoupled, because I got
Yeah.
uncoupled in 2023. And so
You
I
need
was
it.
just thinking about you, like, well, manifest. Like, how did you something the husband? And I'm like, that is so true. Like, that person was a mirror of who I was back then.
Yes.
And like
Yes.
that union lasted 6 years, but it's because I grew into a different person and I embodied a different identity. And I was just
Yeah.
resonating with you because remember in the beginning of the call where I was like, yeah, I had a fear-based life before now. Right now, I'm
Yes.
fearless. Okay, I don't care what anybody thinks or anything like that. I'm not afraid of anything. I
Yeah.
do everything. And if I am scared, I do it scared.
Do it anyway.
But
Yes.
I look fear in the face and I'm like, get out of here. Like, you're in the way, right?
Yes.
Like, just go sit
Yes.
on the shelf somewhere, right? But that took time and that took intention and that took me embodying a different person, a different version of
Yes.
me. The old version of me and the new version of me, those two women are
Totally different.
night and day, night and
Yeah, me
day.
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I really like resonated with that. And I was like, so that's why I use the word mind blown. But
Yeah.
I just went and I got my course. So thank you so much for offering this
Oh,
because I absolutely need it.
yay.
You, like, activated me today and you just made me realize like, hey, I got some work to do, right? And I'm like, okay, how, like, I want to get to a 4. I'm a 3.5. Like, I want to get to a 4. Okay, so help
Bring
me
it.
get to a 4, right? And
Yes.
so
Yes.
I'm just firm believer. I don't think that anyone is perfect or anything. I feel like we all are growing, we're
Yes.
learning, we're evolving, right? And we're evolving every single day. And so,
Yes.
Jena, and I'm so glad that you agreed to come back today because like
Always.
this is the second time that she does a masterclass for us. And so the first time was my first introduction to listening to it all. And I was like, okay, right. And sometimes you have to
Yeah.
sit on, so you're like, okay, it sounds good, right? And then
Yeah.
now
That was pretty cool.
right. And then now it was just like it was honestly just putting the bow on the gift. And I was like, yeah, I'm sold. I need to work on my ego. I need to work on my identity. I need to work on, how I'm manifesting or bringing stuff into my reality. Right.
Yes.
So I have
Yes.
work that I need to do so that I can get to a 4. So I
Yes.
went and I just invested in myself. I purchased a
Thank you.
$27 course. And then I also got the second thing too. There was another thing.
Oh, yeah. There's
What?
a couple options.
Yeah, there's a second a bonus in there, so I went and got the bonus too. So I just appreciate you offering this because this is something that I know that I need because I'm just always wanting to grow. And I know that 4 version of me, that the essence,
Yes.
I know who she is.
Yes. Oh, you
Like
see her.
I know
Yes.
exactly who she is. Like
Yes.
she is like an international best-selling author, right? She's like on stages
Absolutely.
with 20,000 people. Like right now where I'm on stages, there's 500 people. No, there's bigger stages with 25,000 people, right?
Yes.
There's a little bit of work that I need to do. It's like you have a soup, right? You have a recipe and it's
Hmm.
like there's a little dash of something and boop, it's perfect. Right? So I'm constantly doing the work.
Love that.
I I
Yes.
have she was very positive and just giving me like words of like affirmation and everything. But she's like, "Oh, Christina, you feel like you haven't arrived, but you've arrived." And I'm like, "Have I arrived?" I'm like,
Am
I
I
feel like
everything I can
there's
be?
another
Yeah.
right. There's another version of me. See, this version, she's cute, right? She's cute and I love her. And I love her. And she is the 2.0 version of the woman I was a decade ago. But there's a 3.0 version, or you know
4.0,
what? A
a
4.0.
4.0.
There's a 4.0. And so I'm so ready for the 4.0.
Yeah.
Have I? No, I still have work to do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I still have work to
Yeah.
do. Right?
Well,
Like,
you
yes.
know where to come if you want to be a 4.0. I've got a couple spots for the private sessions because
Yes.
we can ascend that. But I
Yeah.
love that, and that's the journey we're all on. It's not even about, I know my personal goal, like personal purpose in life, is to be as ego-less as I can in human form. I don't know if ego-free actually exists, because I believe humans actually need an ego to survive human existence, right? But I'm happy to be proven wrong. So ego-less, but I also know my planetary purpose is to raise consciousness. And part of raising consciousness is bringing us out of the ones and the twos and the threes and returning us, remembering who we actually already are. And that is that four, right? That four, that complete essence, the divinity within, right? And the limitless part of us, the creator of all of this. And when we know that we're the programmer of this reality that we're experiencing, nothing exists unless you actually observe it and experience it. Nothing's actually in existence. So why do we create mirrors? Why do we create the Bali? Like Bali didn't actually exist. It was an idea. It was an idea in my head, until I show up to it. So I bought the plane ticket, right? And then I'm here, and it's like, okay, Bali. It was a little less than, like, I mean, I was excited, but I was also humbled by, we just create the experience of the thing that we show up in. And anything, it's like right now, LA doesn't exist to me right now because I'm not there, right? Which is my home base. But it's just like this crazy experience of what essence expression really is all about, and operating as fully as we can without the ego from that place. And that's the game I'm in. So I'm with you. And whether like I said earlier, I think the beautiful thing about number 4, when we really get there, is we can love and desire anything. We can want the 25,000 people stage. We can want the international author, because it's a fun game to play. It's something to do. It's like, go for it, because nothing is impossible except to the ego. And it's also not necessary to be who we are. Right? Like, to be a 4, we don't actually need a stage. We already are it, right? To be the 4, we don't need Bali. We don't need, whatever the things we're saying we must have in order to be something. Like, but you get to play that game full out because you already are all of it. And that's the game I want to help people get to ultimately. Like, the shut up ego, step 1, right? Grab and if you want, there's a special like offer for the rewired. I didn't even mention this, right? Like, right after, you can upsell to the rewired, and that is like 16 hours of all of my top level master classes. Some of them I only gave to my private clients, so that's a vault of like identity work, money mastery, like all of that. So I highly recommend that too. But you start where you are.
I added it to my cart because I believe in personal development, and I feel like this is a part of that. And I also believe in investing in yourself. And I would not be this version of myself if I didn't decide. It was a conscious decision that I decided I'm going to invest in myself. I started investing
not when
in
then.
myself. Right. No, I started, and it was unconscious. I was like, okay, yeah, why not? Right? Why not go through this personal development thing? I did that before the identity shift, before I became the 2.0, 3.0 version.
Yes, 100%. Me too. Yeah. Make the decision of the identity you wish to be, and then take the action that's aligned with that. 100%. Yeah. Amazing.
I know, it's so refreshing. Thank you. And I want to tell everyone on the call, I love you so much. If you guys are ready to get to the next level, if you're ready to get to the 4.0 version of yourself, then definitely invest in yourself. It's only $27, like she said, and I'm looking forward to going through it so we can go through it together. We can jump in Telegram, we can talk about it, whatever exercises that we can do as a group. We could also ask Jena to follow up with us and see if we can have something together for those of us that decided to invest in ourselves. Let's see. I have to sweet talk Jena, okay? So let's see if we can do something.
It's not hard.
Right? I know, right? So I'm going to sweet talk Jena and see if she can do something privately, collectively with us who decided that we are ready to embody that essence and to be that 4.0 version of ourselves. So I know that
would be amazing.
I encourage you guys, like, now is the time. Like, why wait? Why wait to evolve into, you know, the next chapter, the next version? So I know that I'm not. I have, like, no, I don't. Time is the only thing that we don't get back. So I'm like, let's do it now.
Let's do it. No hesitation. Do it now. Don't overthink it. It's not complicated. And I love that idea. I'm already a yes. Like, we will figure out something for those that jump in within your community. We can maybe figure out another group, something. Yeah. Or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll design it. We can design it.
Yes. Yeah, I think it would be awesome though. I think it would be awesome to have a smaller, intimate group with those of us who actually, you know, once we're done, right? Once we're done or in the middle or something like that, that would be great.
Yeah. Because questions will come up. I mean, you're gonna, like, how do I do this? You know, or just like integration is a big piece of this, right? So like I said, awareness is great, and you're gonna get the awareness, and then there's steps to take to start integrating. But I know that's where people get to be like, oh, this is a new version of me. How do I integrate this? And those are where the questions start to come back up, and new circumstances show themselves, and you're like, what do I do with this one? So yeah, it's an unfolding.
I learned so much this evening. Like, I learned so much in the first masterclass. And so now this masterclass was, like I said, it was the icing in the cake. And that's what I tell other people too. Like, when they do my training, I'm like, listen, go through it again. Because when you listen to it a second time and a third time, to see, you get like that light bulb I had moment. So that's why people, like, it's just, you want to be able to get exposure to this, and it's not only just a one and done thing. Like, it's constant. So thank you.
It's a process.
Oh my God.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for all of the feedback. Thank you for jumping in, Christina. And I can't see behind my screen who else has jumped in. Maybe if you've jumped in, maybe put a 1 or something in here. That would be cool. And we will at least, you know, I'll be able to welcome you in. And I just am excited to like help people with this shift in their life. And certainly always a yes to supporting your community. Like, I'm a part of it too. So yeah, we're all in it together. I love it. Thank you. And thanks for those that jumped up and asked their questions. Thank you, Diana. I see you again. And Samaya. And hopefully everybody shares is teaching everyone, right? Like, you learn from others. So they're your mirror. And I'm happy to be one as well. So I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yes, love you.
Appreciate you.
Love you, everyone. Thank you guys. You guys have a great evening. Bye.